Hi there, Johnny Daniel, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. It's Wednesday at noon. How are you? We are here for our, I just had some water, Facebook Live. And today we will be creating with the Happy Birthday to You stamp set as well as the dies that match, and be talking about some of the coordinating dies that went live for you yesterday. Sorry about that. I'm trying to remember all the dates. So it went live for you yesterday, Tuesday morning to be exact. So if you would like to order any of them, I'm available, of course. So couple notes real quick. Paper Pumpkin coordinates with the Happy Birthday to You stamps and dies. So that's what we will be creating with today. You have until the 10th. 10th is the absolute last day, so I would really say the 9th for you to sign up. Now, if you don't want to sign up, not a problem. You can do a prepaid code instead. What that means is on any given order, you say, hey, I want a prepaid code, and hey, guess what? With a 3-month prepaid code, you can get the Happy Birthday to You for free because it's over $50, and you will get to pick one free $50 offer from the celebration brochure. So kind of cool, right? But if you want this month's, you need to get it to me, your request to me, by the 9th. And actually, I'm closed on Sundays, so Saturday, okay, for this month. Now, if you don't care what month it goes in, tell me whenever. But for this month, 9 full cards coordinating with the birthday cake stamp set. And let's see, I do know that it said on the description occasions and more, so I'm assuming they're not all birthdays. Let's hope not. We'll see. So also, we already talked about the coordinating dies. Celebration is almost halfway over, so if you still want to shop, if you want to host, or if you want to join, please let me know. When you shop, for every $50, you get to pick something for free. For every 100, there's a different offering, or you could pick 2 from the 50. Let's see, when you host, you have the option, besides all the free stuff and the normal stuff, you also have the option to get the Ladybug stamp set for free with any qualifying order. Qualifying means $300 or more. And then, of course, the join. All right, so $99 gets you the ability to not pay shipping. Yay. You only pay tax on the kit, which is about $108 depending on where you are. We're at 7.75% for tax, so it's about $107, $108. You pick, for that $99, you pick $125 for free. You also get a mini guillotine cutter. You also get a 6x6 sampler pack of paper, and you get a bonus of a stamp set that you can pick. So, kind of cool. You are almost doubling your kit. It's about, if you do the max for the stamp set, which is $34, you are doing about $80 extra bonus. I'm just going to tell you right now, I've been with Stampin' Up! For 13 years. Celebration is the best promotion if you do want to join. There are 1 or 2 others usually throughout the year, usually in the fall, September, October timeframe, but they're not as good. So you want to make sure, if you're thinking about doing a try me, join now. There's no negative impact if you drop. There's no negative on your credit. The only negative is you have to put in your own orders. That's it. You get 20% off. You get pre-orders, because right now, second release, we have pre-orders on that going right now. Second release of Celebration. I should finish my sentence. And that will not be available to customers until March 3rd, I believe it is. Whatever that first Tuesday is. So, couple great perks. Not only that, but you get to go to on stage and all kinds of other stuff, and you get first dibs on all the news that's coming out. So, awesome things. Love being a demonstrator because I get to know first. So, if you're thinking about it, don't hesitate. Your first quarter will not finish until the end of July. So if you want to try it out, it's a good time to do that. Let's see, rubber rummage. If you're thinking about cleaning out your craft room and you want to sell some stuff and not have to be present, I need you to tell me. Right now, I've only got about 4 or 5 people, and that's not enough to make the sale go great. So if you were thinking about doing rubber rummage in the end of March, please do not wait to tell me. Mainly because we need some people to get this thing rolling, right? So you don't need to be cleaned out by now. You don't need to have your boxes by now, but you do need to let me know fairly soon so that way I can start figuring out if we have enough people to make this work. Okay? So with all that, that's enough housekeeping for me. I don't know about you, so I'm going to put you down and we're going to get to creating. So hold on. All right, and my computer went to sleep, so I am going to get things up and moving again. I'm trying to get this to go straight, but it's just not working. Let's see. That's close enough for me. All right. Get this centered on the page for you, and we'll get things moving. Okay, so let's see. So get my computer up and set up for you guys. And we will talk first a little bit about how to follow me. So if you see on the page in front of you, there is a blog, of course. So the blog has all kinds of stuff. That's basically my landing point. That's where everything comes together. So if you have to choose one, stampingwithjohnny.com is where you want to be. The YouTube channel, which is all my Facebook lives that I've ever done except for maybe 1 or 2 that glitched, are on my YouTube channel uploaded to there. So if you don't want to have to thumb through my entire Facebook page, that is a good place to be. Obviously, you know about Facebook. I also have Instagram, Stamping with Johnny. Gee, do you see a theme? And is that enough? I hope so. I'm also on LinkedIn, but all right. So if you would like to order these coordinating dies or any other product or clearance rack that is current right now, go to johnnydaniel@stampinup.net, and the current host code is KNSKSXYK. That benefits Heidi. She is hosting a class this Saturday. If you would like to come to the class, you need to let me know by tonight. I think that's enough. Okay. So with that, I mentioned Paper Pumpkin. This is the flyer for that. I want you to pay attention to this red banner here. So as you're seeing me post, pay attention to the red banner because that's Paper Pumpkin for this month. Okay, not always, but for this month. So that's what we have going on. And you will need to let me know by Saturday if you want this month. All right, so with the coordinating dies, etc., let's do this first, the flyer. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new things that are coordinating, okay? So we've got Nature's Thoughts dies. I know you can't see this real well. Honestly, I can't really either. It didn't come out very well. The Special Days dies, this is the one that coordinates with the raccoon and the squirrel and all that. This is the one that coordinates with the fern-looking thing and the butterfly and everything else. Say hi if you join me. Let me know where you're coming from. So this one coordinates with the ladybug, which you can get with a $300 order, or if you host, and $300 worth of orders, whether you buy or ask your friends to. We've got the Sending Flowers dies, which I did last week with a black and white photo. I don't know if you remember that. We've got the birthday dies, which we're gonna mess with today. And we've got the Pleased as Punch Designer Series paper, which I've got right below me. I'm gonna open that pack and I'm gonna let you see it for yourself. Okay, so yes, pretty cards and all that kind of stuff. Yes. So, hey Jode, how are you, hun? Say hello. So, this is the Pleased as Punch Designer Series paper. So we've got cute little umbrellas. These probably coordinate very well with the umbrella punch, I would imagine. And then we've got some really cute raindrops. All right, let's get some things rolling here. Oh, there's 3 pages. Okay. Normally with our designer series paper, there's only 2, but we have 3. So if you missed out on the alternate for the pizza box that we did last week with the flowers, this would be a great substitute for that. You don't have to buy the whole paper pumpkin now. Awesome. So this coordinates with our heart punch pack. So there you go. And then some really cute light pink or petal pink gingham. All right, so this would coordinate with the small bloom punch that you can get. I believe it's a $100 offer. Okay. And then on the other side, ooh, I don't know if you remember Rainbow Bright back in the 80s, but that's what that reminds me of. So we also have some tulips, and these coordinate very nicely with our Timeless Tulip Punch set. And then on the other side, just a very nice, lightly striped, lightly distressed background. So that is the designer series paper on the coordinating. Hopefully you guys like that. So for today, yay, now we get to it. All right, we are creating, I'm going to show you 3 different cards. 1 is already done, 1 is a partial that I'm going to show you, and the 3rd one is pretty much the entire thing that we're going to create together. Okay, so that is what we have in store for today. So this, my dears, is, you've got a thick piece. Oh, I haven't stamped the back of it yet. I need to do that. All right, so you have a thick piece of Very Vanilla. All right, and then with that, the Detailed Bees, Detailed Honey, I believe it is, designer series paper is the background here. And then I've got a piece of gold foil. Now, measurements. Sorry, yes, of course. So the first mat is cut at 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so that's a 1/2 inch in from your base, which is, oh heavens, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then we've got 3 3/4 by 5, which is the black, and then the gold foil I have run through the Subtles embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that. So I've run it through the Subtles embossing folder, and that is cut to 1 inch in, so that is cut to 4 1/2 inches by 3 1/4. Okay, all of these were just snailed on. Okay, so our tape runner. Then I took a piece of basic black and I embossed in gold to match, of course, right? Our Happy Birthday to You cake, and then our Celebrate down at the bottom. I used the rectangle stitch dies to cut this guy out, and then obviously the coordinating dies to cut the cake out. Okay, so that's how this card is made. All right, so secondly, I need to clear off some space because I don't have any. So with that, let's make a tiny bit of room, shall we? Okay, I have boxed myself completely in. All right, so with that, all right, so the second card we have is Whisper White thick card base. I've got, I believe this is Petal Pink. It's either Petal Pink or Blushing Bride. I'm having trouble remembering right at the moment. Let's see here. It is Petal Pink. Okay. I had to look at my ink pads to make sure. All right, so Petal Pink for the background here. This is cut to 5 1/4 by 4. This is going to be our matte. Now I wanted to show you a couple things with this. All right, so I have gone ahead and stamped with the Memento Tuxedo Black, and that's what we want to use with our blends. So I used our blends. Now our blends, I used the Dark Daffodil Delight here. I used the Light Daffodil Delight here. Say that 3 times fast, huh? I used a blend or a combination of the Old Olive, okay, for the leaves and the little, I don't know what you call those, the little balls, for lack of better terms. And then I used the Rich Razzleberry in the dark and light to accent and just colored it in. Used a color lifter to kind of swirl a little bit to make sure there were no streaks and whatnot, unless I wanted them, of course, right? I also wanted to point out in the dies, if you don't like how your flowers look or if you want them popped up, you can also cut out and then do more, okay? Today, I'm not going to do that, but I just wanted to show you. Also, there's a pedestal that you can use, okay? And so, for instance, if this moved a little bit and you don't like, or you went outside the line right there, that would be me, yeah? We can attach this here. So what I'm going to do is just take this and figure out where this comes together. So what I want to do is attach this right at the base of that black line of the cake, okay? And what I'm going to do is just cut off right on that black line. I didn't know if it went all the way around or if I needed to cut it straight or what the deal was, but I'm just going to cut this off because, as you noticed before, it doesn't quite match. And just chuck that. So now, if I can grab this again, I have a really cute cake plate, okay? So that's how that works together. And then I'm gonna just stamp a little bit of words down here and we're gonna see how this all fits together, okay? So first things first, I'm gonna figure out how this is gonna go together. And to me it looks like just like that, so not too terribly hard. One thing to note when you are doing the foils, make sure you have not, let me do what I say and not as I do. When you're doing the foils, make sure you do not get snail adhesive on them, because if you get it on the front, it will tarnish it, and I have not found a way to get that off. So keep it on the back, okay? So we're gonna, got a little bit of adhesive, that's okay. All right, so I want my bottom to line up. So what I'm gonna do is start with my bottom, or the bottom of the cake plate, or the top of it, depending on how you're looking at things. And then just glue it down. Okay, so there we go. Got it? And then I'm gonna grab my Rich Razzleberry. If you want a different color, go for it. It really depends on how you're matting and what you're doing and everything else, but come on. And then I'm gonna do the happy birthday to fill in the entire thing of the bottom. If you've glued your cake further down, you might want to grab Celebrate instead, so that way it's not quite as big, but up to you on what you want to do. Okay, so I am just going to grab and do. Okay, so that's my happy birthday. I notice here that my ink is not consistent, so this might be one that I want to consider possibly re-inking soon. That's how you know when it's time. So it might be time. We'll just say. All right, so that's all I'm going to do to this one. Fairly simple. You can add bows, you can add all kinds of stuff, but in the meantime, that is just what I'm going to do. I might end up adding some gems. Who knows? You can see everything on the tutorial tomorrow when it's all completely finished. But honestly, I think with that kickstand the way it is, that's enough for me. Okay, so there's that. All right, so last but not least, third card, I have thick whisper white cardstock. This is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored in half at 5 1/2. And then I've got my mint macaron cardstock matted perfectly at 4 by 5 1/4. And then last but not least, I have a piece of watercolor paper. Now, with this, we're going to do some aqua painter stuff. With that, if you prefer to not have, or you don't have, the watercolor paper and just want to use whisper white cardstock, you can totally do that. Or shimmery white cardstock, you can totally do that. However, with that being said, you will probably want to replace in your aqua painter pen, instead of water, you might want to do rubbing alcohol. And I say that because it dries faster and it won't ripple your paper as much. Okay? So that's your tip. All right. So I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to see what I can do light-wise. But I have pre-stamped with the Versamark and the cake stamp and the Celebrate. I don't know if you can see that. We'll see. I have pre-stamped with the Versamark and then sprinkled with clear embossing powder over it and then heat tooled it to make it melt. Okay. So what I have right now is an embossed image with clear embossing. And what I'm going to teach you to do today is to do a watercolor wash or to paint with our aqua painter. It's a really good way to utilize what you have for basics when you don't have a lot, or if you're traveling and don't have a lot of room, or a lot of other things. All right, so with that, you can also use, I'm not doing it today, but you can also do watercolor pencil and use a blender pen or an aqua painter as well. But for today, we are just going to use a whole bunch of ink pads and we are going to get this rocking and rolling. Okay, so I have in front of me, I have Poppy Parade, I have Granny Apple Green, I have Mint Macaron to match the matte from before, and then I have the Rich Razzleberry. Okay, so with that, there's a couple different ways to get the ink where you need it to be. So you can close this, even though I just opened it, right? And squeeze it a whole bunch and hope there's enough in the lid. Okay, personally, I don't like making that mess in my lid anymore since I found this new technique. So what I do is I grab a clear block, okay, and literally, I don't know if you can see this or not, literally just stamp my block into the ink directly. You will want to pay attention because you do not want to drop that fully inked block onto your card, okay? And I only say that because it's happened several times. So with that, I'm going to grab my aqua painter. This tube is full of water. You can also do bleach, you can do alcohol, you can fill anything in there. And this is a brush tip with a pressure barrel. So what you're going to need to do is squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And what I'm doing is I am priming my paper. And why I say this is because I want to wash it first because guess why? I want to control where my ink goes. I don't want it to go so far down into the paper that all you see is this one spot. So having it washed beforehand with just water will allow me to control where the ink goes better. Okay? So you want to make sure if you're going to do this technique with it pre-washed with water, you want to make sure that you have watercolor paper, because otherwise you will really notice the ripples. Okay, so I am just going to do a swash here, and then you'll be able to see the embossing. Okay, so you can go as far over as you want or not, but I'm just going to do that for that. Okay, so I've got that going on. Now I'm going to put that to the side. To be able to clean the aqua painter off, just like the blender, I'm just going to swish, swish, swish until it goes clear. Now notice my tip is pretty stained. That's just over the years how it goes. Okay, so with that, I am going to not dip directly in. I don't know what I was thinking, but this is mint macaron. And I'm going to dip a little. If you need to put a drop on here to get things moving, you can. And I'm going to do just a tiny bit of wash back here to coordinate with my mat, right? So I've got that here. Making sure to pay attention that it's either sunny enough or I have a light on it so I can see where the embossing is, so I make sure to not color in where I want to do my detail work. Okay, so we're gonna scratch that off. Okay, that's my mint macaron. And if you want to keep your pads up here so you know what color each one is, you can do that as well. Okay, so with that, let's see, I think I'm gonna do more Poppy Parade than Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to make sure to put everything appropriate, okay? And put a dot here, just one. And I've got my Poppy Parade, so this is going to be for my flowers, okay? If you notice that your flowers are, the ink is going too far in, what you need to do is just put a little bit more wash on there, but make sure your brush is completely cleared out before you do that. Okay, if you don't want to do the detail, you can just wash completely across. You can do a lot of different things. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at for my flowers. I'm trying to see if I missed any. But it's pretty quick to do, which is the other part of why I like this. Okay, and then for my Granny Apple Green, that's going to be my leaves on my cake. Okay, if you don't hit it exactly, not a big deal, it's watercolor. The other great thing about it is, because it's a light color, if you don't like it, you can go back through and do it with a different color, right? So there's what I have for that. Now, the watercolor means you're not going to get exactly the, exactly in the lines. So if you are a in the lines kind of person, this may not be the technique for you. This is just a very free flow, let's see how we do kind of thing. And I notice I hit in the green a little, so I'm going to add a tiny bit of pink right there because I don't want my cake to look brown. And I'm going to add a little more water here because I don't like how dark that is. Get my water flowing a tiny bit. It's another great reason to have the blocks nearby. Okay, so there is my cake. And obviously I still need to do the pedestal, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna grab probably, oh, what color is a pedestal, you guys? Anything I want it to be, right? Yeah. That is the point, huh? So I think we're just gonna wash lightly. And then I'm going to come back through and do a tiny bit more. Blend a little. Now I want to grab a drop of just water because I want to lighten that up a tiny bit. It's one of the great things about doing watercolor, you can play with it. But pay attention because you don't want to warp your paper and whatnot. So, okay. So what else do I need? I need a spot of yellow for that middle, don't I? So I'm going to grab some crushed curry. And a small little block. Now, how to clean these blocks? Just about like we do with our photopolymer stamp sets. We grab a bucket, a little shallow pan, whatever you want to say, and then I need to clean this off first, don't I? Grab a shallow pan, a little bit of warm water, and a little bit of Dawn dish soap, and you are ready to go. Give it about 20 minutes to air dry. You want to pay attention to how you dry. You don't want to dry it with a paper towel because guess what happens? You get lint on your blocks and then that goes to your stamps and then they don't stick as well, right? So when you air dry, that's the best. If you don't have the time to air dry, grab a cheesecloth, a flour sack towel, something that you would strain something through that doesn't have a lot of lint to it, and then you're ready to go. Okay? So that is my cake. Kind of different looking, right? Let's see if I can get this up closer for you. And I think I want to put a tiny bit of blue there too for sky, right? Because we got to have some sky. So, what color is my sky? I think my sky's going to be balmy blue today. We live in the desert, so it's usually blue, right? We're lucky if we see any clouds, huh? So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab my aqua painter. And I'm just going to swirl around till I pick up enough of that blue. And I'm just going to set some blue up top here so it doesn't look green. Because who has a green sky? I don't know about you, but I do not. So, ooh, that was a lot of blue. So I'm going to probably grab some water and pull that out. One of the great things about doing some watercolor. Okay. So I'm just going to touch here on the edges to round things out. I don't want to have scribble marks. And make sure to hit all my edges. And that's what I've got. Now, if you want more subtle colors for your cake, you're going to pick more subtle colors. Notice they're about a shade or two lighter because of the water. So, for instance, there's my raspberry, and this is a tiny bit more pink and lighter. So, that is what I have for that. I got to let that air dry. But I'm going to set it on top of the cardstock so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. And then on tomorrow's blog, I'll have a full tutorial and everything else ready to go for you. So that's what that third card will more than likely look like. Kind of cool, right? Just different. And then we've got our pedestal one with the gold. And then my favorite, because it's just different looking. Okay. So I will leave you with this. If you want to order the coordinating dies, please let me know. JohnnyDaniel.at Follow me, and please remember to use the host code so Heidi gets credit for this week. There'll be somebody else more than likely next week. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. Go finish your lunch and catch you on the replay if I did not see you live. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.